right. Thanks for listening while we take that short break here at Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. And yeah, we're going to get back to your host.
Thank you, Nighthawk. Hello and welcome to Platos Cave, coming to you from Australia, the land down under, for Revolution.radio. That's right, I'm not sitting in some kind of underground bunker on the Denver airport, or important announcement for the station. This is listener-funded radio, which means you, the listener, are in charge of our finances. As scary as that may be, if you can donate, please do. Any kind of currency is good, including crypto, of course. But if you can't donate, that's okay, because times are tough all over. And if you can tell people about the station, that's just as good. Tell people about the station. Tell them about David Mackey. Tell them about Chinese Sellout and Plato's Cave, and tell them to give us any kind of money as well. All good. Archives are free. It's another good reason to donate or tell the people about the station. Today is the 17th of December 2024. Only a handful of days left in this year before we go ahead and start the year with WTF. That's what happens. WTF. That's what we're looking forward to here. Now, before we start broadcasting at Unanga, we would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land from which we broadcast. And for Dave,
I'm lucky enough to be in Dark and Joan country.
Thank you, sir, and myself, of course, and in the country of the Iraq people. Would you like to pay respects to elders, past, present, and future? And like I said, the Australian government and a few local governments already, they might be
specific signs and warnings of what was to come.
Country. Interesting move. I guess, Dave, the thing is this. What's happening in New Zealand is interesting as well, where it seems that the New Zealand government is sort of doing away with treaty. Kind of. Sort of, right? Which I also thought I'd never see. But here it is. Doing away with treaty. It's a brave new world. There's another craziness, though, because I had no idea this happened. They've asked me to sign a petition, and I will, because it's just too... Why don't you tell everybody what happened?
Yeah, you got it. You got it. So, we're probably all, like the globe is familiar with Australia's entry into the exhibition sport at the recent Olympics, breakdancing. And our representative of Australia for the female breakdancing is by her own self-title, her nickname is Ray Gun. Now, without getting myself into a lawsuit, which I'll talk about in a minute, a comedian decided to do a satirical play. A play. That's all they wanted to do. A musical. Ray Gun the musical. Mm. And highlight what it was, what it took to get to the Olympics and perform in the Olympics. And I think it's a wonderful thing to be remembered. Just like, the fellow Mickey that came last, Stephen Bradbury.
Oh,
he came last. Well, he was coming last, and everyone else fell over, and he managed to get the gold in the speed skating a number of years earlier. So, it's important, while he was, oddly, remembered for something, you could call it like a false achievement, but it's not. It isn't. But Ray Gun's performance was judged by judges at the Olympics and also by the people of the planet who have for 50 years seen breakdancing from the early 80s all the way through to now, and everyone has their own opinion on what breakdancing should look like and what was put forward. I'm not saying they're different, and what was put forward by Raygun in her performance. Look, the satirical look, rendition of the musical Raygun is a comedian's perspective on this. There was only going to be 100 seats sold at $10 each. And that's it. So a maximum of $1,000 wouldn't even pay for the flights for the musicians, to be honest, to get there from Canberra to Melbourne. So, but Raygun has decided to put an injunction to prevent the musical from going ahead, saying it damages her brand. There was a whole bunch of complaints. The other is that she's trademarked the kangaroo pose that they use in the promotional material. That's true. It's true. And also trademarked the dance itself, which is the kangaroo dance, which is then parodied in Australia, satirical parody. I'm not going to say it's constitutionally protected activity like in America. It isn't. It's lawful here to do it without complaint of the original source. So, but you do an injunction against both the hosting venue and the writer of the material, and they can't do it without the fear of legal ramifications. That's how the law works. But a comedian, separate from both of those two parties, decided to do a petition, which I'll paste into the show chat at the station. And if you feel so compelled to sign it with your name, full name and email address, go ahead and do that for yourself. You determine how you run your life. Now, I'm surprised, I really am, that someone more in Raygun's position has chosen to take the path that she has. Because I'm not going to dispute the validity of anything or any, there's no disappointment, there's nothing. I have no emotion towards this. I'm only saying that if you wanted to be remembered, if you wanted to make the musical itself go away, I don't think this is the way to do it legally. Like, legally make it go away, because it won't. It's like memes. You can't really make a meme go away. It just makes it worse.
Mm-hmm.
The Simpsons have a great show, Mickey, where it's the advertising. What are they called? Oh, not Monarchs. The other one. I forget the term for the term. You create a character, and that character is now in your ads, and it's the character of your brand. The thing with trying to stop something, it's now just got a whole bunch more press than it ever would have. I don't think I would have even known about it had I not been confronted with the information from a comedian who was, and the subsequent many interviews that the writer, herself a comedian, had done today. It was today old when I discovered all of this. And look, if you want something to go away, don't make a lot of noise about it.
Oh yeah.
So it could have been 100 people making it saw it, and that's the end of that, right?
Oh yeah.
But now the whole country saw it on morning television. It's like, oh, we want it to come to our town now. Why is it only over there?
Yeah, that's right.
So look, I do feel sorry. I actually feel sorry for Raygun, because look, she clearly tried. She tried her best, or maybe not, or maybe she failed to try her best. Maybe she was at 90%. I don't know. But as a result of her performance that went viral and became a meme, even there was, I think I even saw Halloween decorations in the form of that kangaroo stance.
Really?
Now, something that she can trademark the kangaroo dance, I will trademark the funnel web spider dance. Yeah, good for you, whoever you are in the chat room. You know what? But she didn't invent it. The dance that she didn't invent. You know, the Wiggles 20 years ago did it. And I'm going to say something here. It's very controversial, but I agree with the sentiment behind it. The Australian custodians, the native custodians of the land where we live, had their own kangaroo dance.
That's true.
That's at least 60,000 years old. So can you really trademark the dance? You might be able to trademark an image, but I don't think you can trademark the dance. And I feel sorry for someone who has to go to these lengths in an attempt to try and cease it, but then inadvertently makes more noise about it and tells the rest of the planet now, because it's out there, that they don't want it to occur. And look, I'm sure we could hold a festival in another country which was outside of the Australians' legal jurisdiction in order to perform it and stream it live to the planet. Someone could do that, not me. I'm not going to do anything like that. I'm just thinking outside the box and how could it still be seen. And I'm not a genius, so this could be the way that it goes. It could be a pay-per-view. You know, with the amount of people, if this gets like the Keir Starmer kind of petition where it got greater than 2 million signatures, like if this did that, it would be an amazing thing. So look, that's where I'm going to leave it. I feel sorry for the comedian who had to book everything, pay all these licensing fees, or not licensing fees, pay all the booking fees and transportation and hotel costs and everything, only to have that pulled out from underneath them, and they're going to still be lumped with that. And you could co-sue Ray Gunn and her legal team for the cost because they waited too long. It was the day of, or the day before the performance was meant to go ahead. So, and she was served the comedian was served on the day. Yeah, look, it's really sad. That's all I can say. It's really sad that, I mean, I'm not going to get to see it. I think it'd be fun to watch it.
Mm-hmm. I think it's hilarious. I mean, to be honest with you, I'd almost forgotten about her.
Me too.
You told me. And I want to be very clear here. She did not try. Okay, I am a child of the 60s. I have watched breakdancing all my life.
Mm-hmm.
All my life. Oh,
I tried to do it with a piece of cardboard in my backyard. I wasn't very good. Let's just put it that way.
No, same, brother. So I didn't. that's my limitation. I know what I can and can't do. This is not it. But what she did, I don't know what it was that she did. I'm not entirely sure what you would call it. It's not breakdancing, and she didn't try. She got a free European holiday, because that's, you have to understand, that's what happened. And she took the sport away from someone who could have competed and actually done a lot better. Maybe even, got a placement. I'm not saying got a medal, but it's possible, because I saw a few kids and they're really good. We have great talent here. Oh,
we do. I also heard that the Olympic Games won't be pursuing breakdancing in the future.
No, that's correct. It's yeah. It was just an exhibition. See how it goes.
That's right.
It's a shame, but again, it is what it is. But she did not cover herself in glory. And the Olympics are not about having a goal. That's not what the Olympics are. The Olympics are about the best of the best competing for Olympic glory, for the medal, for the right to be there to represent your country. it is not a, oh, let's give it the old college try, eh? Eh? No, it's not that. The best people qualified, and I know she qualified. I don't know how that happened, to be honest with you. I mean, it's just a complete mystery.
I'm not going to comment any further.
But the point is, I looked at it and I thought this is some kind of joke, because I watched the Olympics and I saw it come on. I thought that's clearly some kind of, someone's taking the mickey here, but no, it was all too real. So no, I have no time for her whatsoever, none. I read her dissertation too, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I read her paper, and it's. I can't express how much I hated it adequately. The writing, the content, the inferences, it was. And the thing is this, we hand out PhDs for that kind of drivel. It's astounding. I find it. But then again, there was a guy in Switzerland who peed in a bucket and called it art, and he was, the Swiss government paid for him to do it.
What about banana taped to a wall?
Oh my God. You heard about this, everybody, right? No? Okay, so there's this artist decided to, like Dave said, tape a banana to a wall. That was the artwork. Funnily enough, in some countries where the exhibition went, people thought it was just a banana taped to a wall, and they ate it, which I think is hilarious. But it actually happened, so they just ate the banana.
But it was sold for some crazy number.
Several $1 million. I can't remember the exact number.
Yeah.
It was several $1 million it was sold for. And now, what the person bought was obviously not that banana, because the exhibition had gone through many bananas, because bananas don't last very long. They had bought the right to tape a banana to a wall and call it whatever that was called, whatever they called the artwork. That's what that person bought. And people are starving to death every day. Just put it in perspective here. But yeah, look, it's a funny thing, Dave, with the end times. You don't really see them coming, per se.
But are you going to tell me the signs?
No, the end. Yeah, well, kind of. The end times they sneak up on you, right? And
oh yeah.
And before you know it, they're here, and you wonder what happened, and you think, oh, gee. But then you go through it. Oh yeah, well, we had the banana taped to a wall that sold for several $1 million. We had, we had the Reagan doing a kangaroo march. Okay, we had, we had, all the presidential candidates having either themselves in the U.S. on trial in a federal court, or their family members, as the case may be. But that's okay, because the end times, they sneak up on you. That's what's happening here. And then all of a sudden, the curtain was pulled, and you go, I expected that. I kind of expected that. Okay, I mean, we've been going down this path now for a while. And I'm looking at the whole situation in the world where everything is just, it's all over the shop right now. There's no rhyme or reason to any of it, right? I mean, I'm happy for the people of Syria. They're free now, or free-ish. That's a good thing, right? But for years, everybody just stood by while, the Assad regime, they did whatever they wanted, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun. If you've seen the movie The Dictator.
Oh, I love The Dictator.
Right, it's a really good movie, but the thing is this: it's completely accurate.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even satire. Satire, gives you hyperbole. It over exaggerates things, right? That's what satire does.
That's right.
That's not what this is. This is exactly what happened in the world, and you think, no, because he had, I mean, literally, there were hundreds of thousands of people he disappeared and tortured and imprisoned, and millions of people that fled. I mean, Germany alone took 1 million Syrians. I don't know if you remember this.
Mm-hmm.
But millions of people were displaced. Now the people in Lebanon are saying, hey, it's time to go home, Syrians. Off you go.
The country's good again. You'll be right. Off you go.
We can't really afford to have you, but it's nice. It was nice having you here, but just not go.
Just remember the favour, right? If our country gets a bit wild, we'll be looking to bill it over your.
Yeah. And you know what else? On Sunday, Israel struck another target in Gaza.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently this was a site that was used by Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad, killing 50 people.
It was one of the largest explosions in after World War II, to be honest.
It has been over a year.
It registered
Gaza,
3 on the Richter scale.
Yeah, I know, right? Gaza is a field of rubble. I mean, I don't know if you've. I mean, there's some good stuff on the net, and the Germans are usually quite good when it comes to reporting that kind of stuff. They don't hold back. They don't hold back. So you get access to German news channel. Just have a look at that. Auslandsjournal is pretty good. ZDF, the second German television station. Anyway, and what are you doing? Stop! How they can't surely? Apparently now the official death toll is 45,000. Palestinians killed 45,000.
All unnecessary to it, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I mean, this is like, okay, I found a cockroach in my house, right? Let's say, and I hate cockroaches, and it was eating my my donuts. Let's say, I don't know, I got nothing to do with it, but whatever. And I hated it. It was a travesty. It was a horrendous crime against humanity. So I blew up a house. Mm-hmm. Then I firebombed it, and now I got the cockroach.
Nuked it. Yep.
That's right. But once in a while, every couple of weeks, I set up a couple of grenades in the vicinity just to make sure it's
That's right.
really dead. That's what's happening here. This is insanity. Look, we are in the age of oversimplification. I'll say it now, then I'll shut up. We think that Israel equals Jew. The Israelis seem to think that Hamas equals Palestinian.
That's right.
Right? That's complete nonsense. That's like saying, if you find a neo-Nazi in Australia, that all Australians are neo-Nazis.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's
clearly not true.
Yeah,
I mean, there was a mosque was firebombed, and then a car was firebombed in the suburb where Obama bread. There's a great bakery there, run by Vietnamese in Woollahra that make German bread, really good German bread. That's how multicultural we are here in Australia. But someone felt it necessary to firebomb a car targeting Jewish people. But the Jewish people are not Israel. That's another thing.
That's right.
Israel does not equal Jew. I went through the population breakdown of Israel last week. I'm not going to do it again. Mm-hmm. But there's a very large Arab minority and a very large Christian and Druze and a whole bunch of other stuff. Yes, it's majority Jewish Israel, but Germany is majority, Christian, Catholic in the south and Protestant in the north. England is majority Church of England, Anglican. There's lots of Muslims and also Jews and others. They're all there. Would you say that? So if a Christian commits a crime, then we know we need to bomb England, or reverse. Let's say England bombs somebody, right, and does something bad. So we now have to target all Christians everywhere. Is that what we're doing now? Because it makes no sense. You can be a Jew and American citizen, but you're not Israeli. You could be a Jew and a German citizen. You could be a Jew and an Australian citizen. You could even be a Jew and a Chinese citizen. Okay? I hate it when we're living in, honestly, Dave, we're living in the dumbest era of our existence as this particular civilization, I think. Anyway, I'll shut up.
So remember the one of the quotes, I read it out maybe years ago now, but never in history has a civilization documented itself so unnecessarily. I paraphrased it, but with the advent of computers and social media, we're talking about stuff and about our own lives needlessly. To be honest, it does my head in. I wanted to segue is does my head in, and I found a story which I didn't read out on Sunday. I don't think, because I can't remember that far back, and it was 2 days ago. But it doesn't matter. Joe Biden, it's called commuted 1,500 individuals and pardoned another 39 convicted of non-violent crimes. That's crazy. That they say the single day act of clemency was the biggest in modern history. And this is a story by CNN, surprisingly. And I've got that on the screen so that everyone can see it. And I'm shocked. I can say that I'm not as shocked as I thought I would be, but it's still a surprising amount of people. And I found there was a list somewhere of most of them, but it was too much. I wanted to put it into a spreadsheet so I could see what kind of crimes, but you don't get much in the way of who they are. Were they all on his team? I don't know. I don't even know. But for whatever reason, they were, found guilty of something. He's now pardoned 39 of them and granted clemency for 1,500. They say nearly 1,500 people, so it could be 1,499. Who knows?
It's the highest ever.
Yeah, ever.
Ever. Nothing comes close. And it's like, what? It's true. It's really good. Wow. It's amazing.
So, like the drone thing, where there's just the drones everywhere now in the sky, who cares? How clean is a president if they need to do this? Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a good person surrounded by good people, and your party does good things, and not at all anything illegal, I'm not saying the opposite. I'm just saying. Then what would the purpose of it be? And I've got some friends of mine, Meki, that love the Bible and all of the stories in there, and the false prophet and all this stuff, where I was reminded the other day where Jesus didn't hang around all of the do-gooders. He hung around all of the people who, in today's words, lowlives and scum, or in Star Wars words, scum and villainy. He wasn't one of those, but that's where the text says where he was. Now, I'm happy to take criticism on what I've just said. Go ahead. But if you're a president of a country, I would imagine that, at more than 6 degrees of separation to Kevin Bacon, you would be as clean as a whistle. And I know, Meki, there's past presidents that have passed away who are spinning in their graves with anger, I'm sure, with the collection of words and the meaning that I just spoke. Yeah? All right, no comment from Meki. That's fine.
No comment. I'm not touching that one.
Not with a barge pole. What else was there? Oh, here's something. If we haven't seen enough of COVID, there was a story put out today that urgent warning issued as new COVID wave hits Western Australia days out from Christmas. Now, this does come from the Daily Mail, so take that with a grain of salt, I suppose. They say that COVID cases in WA have skyrocketed. That's what they say. It's on the screen. You can read it yourself. And in fact, you can go to the website and you can search for anything that's on the screen. You'll get there. So, in the midst of all of the things that are floating around the internet, it's surprising to see that perspective being reiterated again. I suppose there must be another vaccine coming, so maybe that's just promoting that.
The thing is this with the vaccines now. I mean, people are becoming fatigued with it. So the funny thing is this: Donald Trump obviously wants to, appoint RFK Jr.
That's correct.
To the
for
health.
Yep.
Yeah. Who's a vaccine critic? Let's call it. Let's call him a critic, because he does say, I mean, they're all bad. But he's a critic, and he's cautionary. And this is not medical advice. I'm just telling you what actually happens in the world. That's all. Not medical advice.
Warnings.
Not saying anything. But it's going to be interesting what's going to happen, because if people have now been exposed, to a variety of different medications, and there's this massive mistrust, and in fact. The other show cycle we do in Shiny Set Out, we're talking about medical experiments and such, right, on human beings. There's huge mistrust, certainly in Africa, of the medical establishment, because there have been documented cases of experiments that were highly unethical and harmful to the people that were part of it. I mean, the Tuskegee experiment in the States is a prime example of that, right? So we are now living in the age where the trust in the institutions is sort of eroded. Not because of the people, really, it's because of the institutions. Too many things have been taken for granted. I mean, America is suffering from still, in fact, a massive opioid epidemic. And we're not talking about heroin addicts or the smokers of hash or anything like that. These are soccer moms that were prescribed painkillers, opioid-based painkillers. Overprescribed, I should say. In fact, but not just one or two, but thousands, if not millions, of soccer moms and soccer dads and all that. And then, all of a sudden, the medication is taken away, and now they have to find other ways to feed what is now an addiction. That's a fact. That is a fact.
I'll tell you, right? The oxys are very difficult to deal with. Your body will retaliate when you stop taking it. Yeah. Because I had to when I broke my foot in a triathlon accident in 3 places, and it was awful, to be honest with you. Like, I got a really high threshold of pain, but wow, that was something else. And my doctor goes, look, just take one of these, every, I forget how often it was. Yeah. It like, I didn't know who I was. That's how bad it was, the effect of it. But I recognized pretty quickly that was the wrong thing to do. I'd just be better off just dealing with the pain rather than taking it. But my whole insides cramped up in agony. It was terrible. In retaliation to have another one. I want one of those. No, you're not having it. And then, oh boy, I don't know how people would deal with that if they'd been taking it for a prolonged period. Because I just went like maybe 9 days or something. And once I came out of the other side, wow, I was so pleased I was off them. My goodness me.
See, it's the thing is this, and you see the celebrities too. I mean, Michael Jackson potentially, and I forget the name, Chandler Bing, he played in Friends.
Yeah, that's right.
Perry, Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry.
And
the many others that we don't hear about.
Yeah, many others, but you can see it. Nobody's immune is my point, right? Nobody's immune. Celebrity or regular person, this can hit you. Like Dave, I don't really take painkillers much. I remember the last time I took painkiller was when I passed a kidney stone.
That's never pleasant.
It didn't tickle, right? So, and before that, I did take painkillers. When I had my 4 wisdom teeth out at the same time. Other than that, I'll stay away from all kind of medication. Same with my kids and so forth. My mom was the same, and she had some serious pain. They gave her the strongest painkillers because of her cancer and such, but she just decided not to take it unless it was absolutely necessary. Because it's easy to fall into it. You know, it takes the pain away. It doesn't deal with the pain, like the source of the pain. It just takes the pain away, and it's easy to fall into it, like I said. But that stopgap, the checks and balances, the control, it seems, didn't exist in America when they let it all just hang out. Just take as much as you want. It's like, what? I mean, people made money, right? I mean, they cost money, these things, and I know because there are a lot of doctors in my family. Again, not medical advice, but you know, I know that big pharma pays bonuses, takes people on trips and such. It happens. It's a thing because they're selling their product. Anyone who sells a product does things like that. And it's hard to resist sometimes, I guess. But think about this for a second. The entire nation is addicted now, almost. The problem is so massive. It's not even funny anymore. I don't know. I mean,
there's an astounding amount coming across the US borders, and it really needs to be dealt with. And look, it's easy to sit here from our bunker in Denver airport because we're Australians, so that means Australia doesn't exist and we're crisis actors. But it's to continue to allow that to occur is a crime in itself against the American people, and it's sad to have seen it escalate and get worse. But hopefully, as of next year, there might be inroads into making that go away. That'd be great, but I don't feel... It's almost like how you could create a zombie apocalypse. Get everyone affected by them, hooked on them, and then just cut the source off. That could be really, really bad. I'm not saying, what was that from The Simpsons? When you get home, take some of these, and some of these, and it's like, thank you, doctor. Oh, I'm not a doctor. So I'm not providing medical advice. I'm really not. No. But Simpsons can joke about it. That's what they can do. And bringing up, in my mind, I have a bunch of connections, just like an AI has a bunch of connections. It's not always right. Doesn't always say the right things. And when you question it again, it may not come up with the same answer it did last time. But I know for sure that allowing opioids across your border is a bad thing. So try to avoid doing that. Hey Mackie, the other thing that you shouldn't allow across your border is a bunch of drones.
Tell me about the drones, brother.
I'm glad you asked. So the head of Homeland Security had first said that there weren't any drones. They were just, manned, piloted aircraft. And then a couple of days later, oh no, there's drones. And then military personnel were doing citizen journalism and throwing videos up to YouTube of what they'd filmed at the Air Force bases. And so there's a fellow who has a channel called The Elephant Room. Do have a look at that. There's a video, I've got one on the screen, and it's UAP drones over Wright-Patterson AFB or Air Force Base. And there's a pilot and some passengers who have uploaded videos of what they can see as drones flying across the top of the cloud cover. The planes above it probably looks like, 35,000 feet or something like that, or 40,000 feet. And you can see little lights dancing around. I've got the thing paused if you're looking at this, rubble. But there you go. A fellow shot at a drone that was over his house. It's illegal. Don't do it. Just let the authorities do what they've got to do. Do not shoot at drones. Even if it's your own drone, don't shoot at it. it's not right. I just watched this poor old fellow. He's 60-something. He'd had it with this drone flying around, and he shot at it. Apparently he did hit it, and he's caused about $10,000 worth of damage to the drone, and the drone owner complained, even though the Homeowners Association doesn't allow drones to be flown in that particular area. Apparently, I don't know if I'm getting half the story right or wrong. This is just what people, the cumulative amount of data, and I've washed it for duplicates, right? So it's sad, but the United States government, their only interest is to pass legislation to better shoot drones down. They don't really
are
care.
they drones though? I mean, why do people call them drones? That's what I want to know.
I see. A drone to me is an autonomous craft that goes about its business.
Yeah.
But we now use it interchangeably between, a human-controlled flight of a 4-bladed or 6-bladed, 8-bladed helicopter. That's really what they are. It's not a drone. Yeah, a drone to me is not the same thing. So, but anyway, so look, even if it's piloted or not piloted, self-flying, whatever, I don't really care. You're not allowed to shoot at them, but American government is trying to pass legislation to say you can, or they can, with the correct authority, try and provide authority to the authorities to shoot down what they want. Even if a drone the size of an SUV, according to witness testimony, that's flying over and hovering for 17 hours over like an Air Force base, I would have shot it down. I would have asked my CO, can I shoot it down? Yeah, why not? Just don't tell anyone. I would have shot it down. If I was in the Air Force or I was in the Army and there was one flying around, because if it's not you flying it around, it's someone that shouldn't be flying around. You should have controlled airspace around your Air Force bases, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine.
Well, yeah.
So,
but the thing is, but we're not closer as to what that thing actually is.
We're not closer to anything, to be honest with you.
And in fact, I mean, if I was in America, I mean, who's flying stuff through my airspace? I mean, it's not. How do you know it's not? If you don't know what it is, how do you know it's not dangerous? That's what.
That's exactly right. That's a great point to make.
So okay, right. But then explain it to me. And
they go, well, they're not adversaries, and you go, why is that? Oh, because they have FAA approved lighting on them. Well, that's good. Let's just make a note of that, Mickey. So when we want to fly a drone, say over China or Russia, and we include FAA approved lighting, they can't shoot us down. Is that right? Is that right?
That's my takeaway here. that's what I'm hearing. Okay, so I can bring all of my bomber fleet over to you.
Yeah.
But the lighting is right off. You go off.
They're just manned aircraft. We can't shoot them down.
Yeah.
So for them to unequivocally declare that they're not adversarial, and that there aren't drones, but there are drones, and they're just hobbyist staff, but then they had to close an airport because the drones were in the flight path. Yeah, and they couldn't tell what the drones were because they didn't have transponders on them with ID, because in England you've got to register your drone with the government. It's got to have a transponder ID, and you have to keep that licensed and trained and keep up a license to be able to operate it, so that they can find you guilty of doing the wrong thing, right? All of those things are really important if you want to start policing it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're sure. This still gets me. They're dead sure that the drones are harmless and that they're not alien, that we haven't shot one down, They're not the enemies, and they're just manned aircraft. Don't worry about it. Oh, but there's some drones, but don't worry about it. Does it make any sense?
Well, that's the thing. It really doesn't. Right? I mean, okay. So let's just talk about a couple of these things. So first of all, they don't know what it is. So nobody can give you an educated opinion about the danger or not danger. Let's just be clear. Secondly, what happened to the things that were shot down or crashed? This was almost more than a year ago now, 2 years.
Yeah, that's right.
In Canada, up in the north there, nothing. It's radio silence. We don't know. What are you talking about? We don't know. What? So I'm really, if I was in America, I would write to my congressman or march on Washington and say, hey guys, just come on, what? Like, I mean, really, what are you doing? What's going on? And I don't know. I mean, the only time you will actually get an answer is if you do march on Washington, right? And demand an answer, like the Million Men march that they had, or all the other things.
Oh, what's his name goes to Washington? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That too, absolutely, Mr. Smith. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a brilliant movie. People back then, movie makers had courage. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. It's a Wonderful Life. You watched them. The social commentary is deep and accusatory. But yeah, so I mean, what are these things? Oh, well, don't worry about it. Well,
I don't think it matters anymore, to be honest.
But
surely.
Like, what? No. It's like the Viking ship lands in New York Harbor, let's say, and they start, coming on board and just taking stuff. And oh no, there's Vikings. That's what they do. It's okay. Yeah, that's okay. It's no danger. They're not hurting anyone. Just taking stuff. That's all they do. Oh, okay, that's what Vikings do, right? That's what they do. I mean, if they're in airspace, if they have to shut down runways, that's serious security and safety concern. I would have thought. I mean, I clearly I don't know anything, so it's all good.
So there's another Daily Mail article here, and it says exclusive. It's from 3 days ago. It says, moment mystery drones loiter over US airbase in Britain. Global alarm over UFOs after sightings in New Jersey, as experts say they may be a prelude to Russian or Iranian attack. That's what? The Daily Mail at the end there, to be honest with you. That's typical.
Okay, that's certainly very interesting.
It's an escalation of paranoia, but still, it's baseless.
I mean, it's like, I'd like to know. I mean, people said it was like this was it the Iranian or Syrian mothership that was missing?
That's an Iranian mothership off the coast. Yeah.
Now it's saying it's the Russians. I really want to know how you know all of this. How do you know? How do you know? What information do you have that I don't? Just tell me.
Well, they're not going to tell you.
Of course they're not.
That's right. So I typed into our chat here, and it says to ignore the fact, to obfuscate that their contractor new tech, or you might call it X-tech, like your X-plane was the experimental version of a plane in top secret. So maybe these are top secret contracting agency demos of new tech that they're testing to see whether, how long they can loiter and are they seen on radar, etc. Right? And whoever wins the contract for all of the ones in the future. I don't know. I'm throwing this out there because it's so unlikely that it's alien. Everyone, went straight to it's Russia and Syria, or Iran or whoever. I don't care. But of the two choices, it being contract, like Raytheon or whoever, right? Or it's aliens live on this planet, have shared with this planet. They're not flying the drone from 40,000 million That's a bigger number. Light years away from some planet to come and have a look. Maybe Eisenhower did sign an agreement with them so their planet blew up or what. I'm just making up a scenario. And that they live in the Southern Ocean. And we're just being a bunch of pork chops at the moment, blowing each other up again, or they're getting getting a bit testy there,
Getting a bit
up on
shooty.
the surface.
Right?
Let's just show ourselves again. It worked back in the day, right?
Yeah.
So many revolutions ago, but I don't know. Like I'm just throwing stupid things in the air because nothing that the government in America is saying makes sense, and unilaterally, they're all different messages. There isn't anything that's the same.
Yeah. And it's like I said before, right? I mean, it's all just falling apart. This is what it must have felt like when the Visigoths were knocking at the gates of Rome. The Bavarians here. Oh no, that's okay. Don't worry. They're not dangerous. It's okay. Don't worry. What? Hannibal at Portas. Back in the day when Romans knew how to be afraid. And Hannibal came. But no, not anymore. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I don't know what to. I used to be able to make sense of the world at a fairly visceral level. I mean, I really could. I was, I thought, okay, no, that makes sense, or that makes sense, or that doesn't, or whatever the case may be. But now, I just don't know. I don't understand why people do what they do. Yeah, I know. I don't know why people do what they do. I don't understand why they believe the nonsense that the people in power tell them, because it doesn't make any sense. But they believe it, and it really I don't know. It's just it boggles the mind. It's are we really that stupid?
Okay.
Are we? Maybe we are.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe we are.
You see, Mickey, the times when you could see what was happening and maybe call a trend or know what was going to happen was because it was, compared to today, it was not turbulent at all.
Yeah.
It was like a flat ocean. Mirror finish. Every once in a while there'd be a single splash. Well, that's easy to deal with. Now, it's like 50 knot winds. The whole thing's foam. It's all white water now. No one can make sense of anything. There's too much noise coming from everywhere. Did you like that simile? I thought it was.
I love it. Yeah,
pretty good.
It works for me.
I know it was hot where you were today.
Oh, it was hot.
Oh, it was hot. Did you know that yesterday, or today for us, our time, Australia was officially the hottest place on Earth today?
Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't know that. Okay. Well, it kind of makes sense, brother, because it was 40. Actually, it was 42 degrees when I was picking up my kids from school around 3 o'clock.
Wow.
It was hot. Uncomfortable. I mean, I'm actually okay normally, right? When it's hot, but today I felt drained. It really sucked it out of me, right out the marrow, right out of my marrow.
Out of the marrow, wow. Yeah.
Tells you. It was uncomfortable. And this is only the middle of December now, right? We're not even at the height of summer here. So, in fact, it was out west here in New South Wales. We had like places, not quite at 50, but getting there, 47, 48. It almost becomes unlivable at that point.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's but hey, this is not change to our climate at all. It's all good.
Yeah, that's right. What are you?
Crazy person.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So I know we've only got 1 minute left, Mickey.
Oh, good lord.
And there's the music already.
The clock is wrong. Okay, hey, this has been Platos Cave. Thank you so much for listening to us this morning. Hopefully, You were entertained. Are you entertained? Are you entertained? Don't go anywhere. I'm sure something else is going to come up. And most of all, though, Dave,
be safe.